Hey guys, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. And today we are not in a garage gym. Well, yes, we actually are in a garage gym with Marcus Philly. We've actually just done a walkthrough with Marcus at his home gym. So if you'd like to see that, subscribe and you can see that content. But Marcus is the founder of Functional Bodybuilding, as well as a former CrossFit Games athlete. And he has not one home gym, not an outdoor gym, but he also has this 2,400 square foot facility that is just filled to the brim with equipment. So Marcus, take us through. The first thing I want to talk about though are these machines.
Let's go check them out.
Okay, let's talk about them.
We became known for functional bodybuilding programs that we were putting out. They were really targeted towards the functional fitness community who had a certain type of training facility, more like a CrossFit box,
sure,
right? And those machines weren't there. But as we've grown and we've expanded, the idea is that we want to reach people in lots of different, parts of the fitness community, lots of different markets. And the machine is very familiar to the vast majority of people who train in the world. They go to commercial gyms where they get on these tools, and maybe they're interested in functional training with barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, but it's intimidating. So
sure,
part of the idea of this facility in this studio is to create a space where we can have content that kind of crosses lots of different barriers of the fitness market. These two types of spaces, an open gym floor with a rig and rings, and then machines, they don't belong in separate facilities.
So if somebody is following functional bodybuilding in a garage gym and they have limited space, is there like a go-to machine that you recommend? Is like, all right, this is the first one you should get?
A cable machine I think is super valuable. If you can,
sure,
if you have the budget for it, there's lots of different options that don't take up a ton of room inside a garage gym. Of these machines that are over here, I would say a hamstring curl option, or it doesn't have to be prone, it could be seated hamstring curl.
Yeah.
I think a hamstring curl is one of the most underutilized or neglected areas of training for the functional fitness community.
So these are Atlantis pieces, and most of the machines I see are Atlantis pieces. Why did you choose Atlantis? What drew you to them?
Eleiko actually has and has had a partnership with Atlantis Strength. It was easy for me to be like, okay, we want the best stuff here.
How often are you using machines? Whether it's the leg press over there, or these cable machines,
these
things like
three
that.
In particular right here,
yeah,
I've been using weekly.
Okay.
Like at least once a week, sometimes twice.
What are you doing on the turf?
It's a lot of pushing and pulling of sleds. That's pretty much why we got it. It's not the most forgiving, and friendly surface. It's pretty rough. We might do some lunges up and down on this, and to do farmer's walks and things like that. Typically, I use sledding for warm-up. So it's reverse sled walking, sled pushing. Those are kind of my primary go-tos, but some of the other folks that are training here, they're doing hand-over-hand pulls as part of their conditioning, maybe heavy sled pushes as part of their conditioning.
Okay, this massive rig here, this is Eleiko as well. Why take up so much space with this? How are you using it? How are people in the gym using it?
Yeah, so the vision was we're gonna create an 8-station functional bodybuilding gym.
Okay.
We got the 2 big power racks and we've got the rig. There's 8 squat stations on each. And really in each of these stations, you could do like a full functional bodybuilding workout.
You have competition bells back here.
Yeah.
You also have these powder coated bells up here. Which ones are you using more often, or does it just kind of depend where you are in the space when you're working out?
I typically use the competition bells more and more these days.
One attachment you have that has almost been heretical in the, the gym space for people who like barbells is the Smith machine.
Yeah.
Which is a barbell, it's just attached to a vertical post. This thing is sweet. It's got an Eleiko Smith bar on it with a Eleiko knurling. Thick. I mean, this is like a 38 millimeter or something. I mean, this thing is thick.
Some of the things that are here in this gym, we're sort of like, we're gonna create this partnership and Eleiko's going to get us equipment.
Yeah.
What do you want? I was like, I want everything, oh, we have a Smith machine. You want one of those? I'm like, sure. And I'm more in the camp of like, I don't think I'll ever use that.
Yeah.
And for the first, 3 or 4 months, it didn't get much use. And then I started to incorporate it in my training, and now I'm getting under this bar like at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Really?
It is a big part of my training. It's like any tool can be valuable if used, by the right person at the right time.
Yeah. Over here are some more machines. Why do you end up going with a cable machine, functional trainer, and then also their lat pull low row?
Getting a functional trainer or getting at least a single stack, there's so much rotational work you can do with it, endless variations of pushing, pulling, arm work. leg work, like you're doing arm work. People are like, oh, I'm just gonna grab this dumbbell and just get a good pump. It's like, why aren't you still approaching progressive overload with your arm training and your core training and your rotational training the same way you would with your back squat? And then for the lat pull down and the low row, that gets a lot heavier than this. You know, when looking at like pull-up training, like, or, you know, vertical pulling, like when you're in a functional gym, like you're kind of limited to just doing pull-ups, and there's so much more that you can get, you know, by having options of pulling up high and pulling low.
Massive pulleys. I mean, look at these pulleys on the back of the lat pull down. Just huge nylon glass-filled pulleys. And then this little bench is cool. So you can go from the lat pull down seat, pull it back, and then you've got a really nice low row. And the angle on this low row, like most of the time, you're basically through your feet. This allows people, I would say, with a little bit less mobility, but to be able to have a really nice pull that feels really good. Then let's move over here to the dumbbell area. The Nordic Bench, which you love.
This is what allowed me to actually get my first Nordic. You know, if you're gonna try and learn Nordics, you need to have great padding on your ankles, and you need to have great padding underneath. And more than just padding, you need to feel so secure, like you're not gonna fall. Because if your brain perceives that you're like not stable, you will not fight for your eccentric contraction with your hamstrings in the range that you're actually gonna build the strength needed to do this. And this thing is just ideal, and I like the length of it too. I've seen some benches that are longer,
really long.
Full Nordic position down here. I have my chest is actually like almost at the hip. I'm able to like lean off of this, which gives me a little bit added range, takes me a little bit more into that like end range of my hamstring. I mean, it's made a whole difference in how my legs feel.
Sweet.
And just my hamstring strength is like the best it's ever been.
That's awesome. So dumbbells, these are the same dumbbells you have in your garage, except these are the fixed handles, right?
That's right, yeah. The ones at home, they spin and they're a little thicker. These are fixed. They're a little narrower.
And then a variety of benches here, similar to what you have in your garage.
All the same benches as at home, except this one we got addition. This is like a decline bench, which actually for people who want to like progress to GHD sit-ups, doing decline sit-ups like this kind of simulates an added range of motion. It's pretty good. Going with a leg press versus going with a hack squat, talk me through that. I wanted a hack squat for the anterior chain focused squat variation. It has a slightly smaller footprint than their like full-on leg press, so this pivot press is like just slightly different. That reverse hyper, to be honest, like I didn't use it enough, or it just didn't fix my back. It was still a good tool. Since then I've been on a variety of other, you know, reverse hypers that I think made some improvements to like just the manufacturing and how they move, and I would like to kind of upgrade that and get something a little bit smoother and a little bit more you know, current and up to date. A couple of Eleiko squat racks, and these are double-sided. Tons of stations and some cool like different pull-up attachments that are up here. With the knurling, both on the handle and the pop pin. Very nice. See, you pay extra for Eleiko, but it's just the experience. It reminds me of like a high-end car. You know, it's very nice. And then these are fun. The Oppen collars. Another thing I noticed that you have no shortage of is landmines. There are a lot of landmine options, and of course, you know, you just take a barbell and shove it into the corner of your garage, and it works fine for a landmine. But this is the Eleiko joystick, and you know, they actually, these little bar holders work out great. They also can just dump right into a plate, and it provides you all this additional freedom of movement that is going to turn one tool that can do a lot of things into the same tool that can do almost endless things. The Smith machine gets kind of crapped on because, like, all right, it's a barbell on a fixed point. But really, a landmine is taking a barbell, putting it on a fixed arc, similar to a Smith machine, but instead it's almost like you're simulating the difference between, like, say, a kettlebell, which is just unlimited movement, and a Smith machine. So it basically turns a barbell into like a kettlebell or dumbbell, but on a fixed pattern. Yet the landmine never gets crapped on. You know, it's just like the stereotype. It's such a cheap tool that so many people can add. They've already got a barbell, like add in a $50 landmine, and the amount of extra training you can get is a lot. Like, I'd actually recommend a landmine over buying a set of dumbbells or kettlebells initially, because you can use your barbell in a similar way, not taking up more space and not having to spend a lot. Exactly.
I love them.
Yeah.
Over here, some Mac Daddy kettlebells.
Yeah, there we got them up to 100 over here.
Okay.
They go up to 200 over there. I wanted to have anything that might potentially show up in competition.
And then kind of a conditioning row. It's funny, this gym is basically a bigger version of the gym you have at home.
Yes.
With more machines.
Both places I want it to reflect how we train.
Sure.
And what we use a lot of, you know, and at home I don't have the extra square footage to add the things that we use once a week or twice a week, as much as I'd like to. But
cool.
That's why the extra machines are here, because we have a little extra space. And again, the vision was that this place would eventually have more foot traffic, have more people coming in with varying fitness needs.
Yeah.
And again, having machines is a very good entry point on certain movements and certain movement patterns, so that people can actually get in and do it safely and learn how to build muscle without like this big barrier to entry of like, I got to learn how to do a front squat. It's like, well, you could just jump over here and get a good quad workout on the leg extension, and that's great. We need people to build muscle mass who don't have it.
We've talked about the equipment, we've touched it, we've moved it around, but we haven't used it yet. Let's train. This is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Marcus from Functional Bodybuilding. If you'd like to check out any of his content, we'll put a link below the like button to his channel, as well as Functional Bodybuilding. We'd love you to check it out. We'll see you next time. Peace.